the sexual abuse of Hollywood and the other abuses. Because there's taking advantage of more than just women in Hollywood. If you want to get ahead, and I'm going to keep stressing this because everybody's freaking out about this. Oh, he took advantage of women. I mean, when is this a new revelation? It is not. It has always happened. The only way to stop it is to not watch the movies, not watch the TV shows, not buy the music out of the radio or the music industry. That's it. Because the more you go to their movies, the more you purchase their music, the more this stuff is going to continue, because you're giving them your approval by paying for it. You're making Harvey Wallbanger rich, Mr. Weinstein there. You're making Harvey rich by going to his movies, so then he's got the power over these women and who knows who else. Because if he had any inklings of being gay or bi, the men that were involved with that, not many, I think, will come out. Because I don't think they're too proud about it. See, women can claim a victim, and it's okay in the public eye. But if the guy were to do it, it's not quite a victim. You're like, oh, he's gay. He did it because he's bi. Even though the guy might not be. Anyways, folks, we got to take another quick break as we're running way over again time. You know, I get walking and talking on this stuff, and I just go. Stay tuned. We got more of the John LeBang Show right after this.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Listening there. Don't go anywhere. The John LeBang Show is going to be right back. Just ask the hillbilly.
That's right. Right after this.
What about me? Maybe next time.
Fans, do you need a video for your brand new song but don't have a lot of money? Then contact John LeBang. His reasonable rates, professional look, and fast turnarounds will help get that song off the ground. Contact him at jlebang.com.
If you are elderly, disabled, receiving SSI or Medicaid, and you have a medical need or require assistance with daily housework, shopping, grooming, medication, you may qualify for housekeeping at no cost. Call now, VIP Home Healthcare, 248-579-3805. VIP Home Healthcare, there when you need them. That's 248-579-3805.
Hey, man, it's at the bottom of the hour, man. Do you know where your kids are, man?
Forces of darkness, the treasonable minds who collaborate must, can, and will be wiped from the face of the earth.
All right, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Hope you're doing fine this hour here as we're kind of randomly going through just about everything in the news cycle. Got the big wildfires out there in California, or apparent wildfires. It's hard to tell how these things started. They don't really know. Of course, some people are talking about global warming started it, climate change started it, it's all climate change, the humans' fault. Well, it might be humans' fault, but I don't think it's due to climate change. In fact, NASA, it's just great, and we're going to talk about that now. NASA just confirmed that the sea levels are falling across the planet, not rising. So apparently Al Gore and Barack Obama, Al Sharpton, and all those geniuses out there who have been predicting that the sea levels were going to continue to rise, it's not exactly happening. And the reason is because more ice is forming on land surfaces. Not even in the water, they're forming on land surfaces. So that suggests that the Earth is cooling overall, which would fall into the study we read about a year ago that says the sun is in a, I don't want to say cooling phase, but it's having less activity as of right now and over the next few years, and it could possibly trigger a small ice age, which we're already in, as people and listeners of the John LeBang Show should know by now. The Pliocene Quaternary Glaciation is the name of the current ice age, and we're experiencing an interglacial period inside of that ice age, but it looks like that interglacial period might be coming to an end, and we might be slipping back into colder temperatures, which does not thrill me at all. Not at all. I know we're getting a new furnace in the place here. That's great. Hopefully it's a little bit more efficient than the 300-year-old furnace. But having cooling temperatures means more snow, more bad winters, longer winters, and as most people know by now, John doesn't like cold weather. Not at all. And one day we may move from the frozen tundra known as Michigan to some place that stays warmer for a longer period and has maybe a little more relative even temperatures so we can survive better, because the older I get, the less I enjoy the winter. In fact, last winter was fairly mild and I still was a baby over it. When those days when it got real cold, like, 10 degrees or something, it was like 10, was about as low as it got last year. A few years ago, some of you will remember, we were like minus 40 degrees wind chill. I was hearing popping in the house. The poor roof was probably busting off. It's probably why I needed a new roof this year. Was that winter a few years back where it was so cold it didn't matter how high you turned your heat in your house, you couldn't get it warm enough, and your heater never stopped, your furnace that is, or your boiler or whatever you run in your house. That thing never stopped. It just kept running for days and weeks and even months because the cold just didn't go away. And according to NASA, the cold must be accumulating for longer durations across the planet because sea levels are dropping and ice levels on land masses are increasing, which means the water that's evaporating out of the ocean is accumulating as snow or something, and as it falls back to the ground, it just gets stuck in places because it's so cold it can't melt to run down streams, back into lakes, out into the bigger rivers, and then into the ocean again. It can't do that. A lot of people don't even know the cycle of all that, by the way, which is something they should have learned, I don't know, in maybe 7th or 8th grade at the very latest. They're more worried about teaching you how to put a condom on a banana or something. So we have that. The Earth seems to be cooling, which is might fall in line, real nicely with what Donald Trump was saying there, that we don't need to be part of that climate deal in Paris or France because it's cooling. He didn't say it's cooling, but I'm saying it's cooling. And because the Earth is cooling, we don't need to worry about climate change in that regard. We have to worry about freezing climate change because it always changes. You tell me a place on the planet that has the same exact temperature, humidity, everything every day of the year. Never happens. And if you live here in Michigan, it can change from hour to hour, day to day, week to week. We can go from 100 degrees in the summer to minus 40 degrees in the winter, and we don't think anything of it except we hate the cold. And some people hate the heat. So we've got that as well. Looks like Mr. McCain, as we mentioned earlier, he's also on the block for the tax cuts that might be coming. Donald Trump is being forced to use executive orders to make his agenda happen because the party that supposedly is under him refuses to go along with his agenda, which means it refuses to go along with the American people's agenda because the American people elected Donald Trump. And of course the Democrats are not going to party on Garth with Donald Trump. Not at all. In fact, after Trump basically told them to stick DACA, they haven't been too friendly with him. I mean, they haven't been friendly at all with him since the very beginning. When he was elected, they were depressed and sad and angry that they lost the presidential election. They should have known they were. cheated Hillary into the nomination, and then Hillary, with all her evil and her crookedness and her lies and a few falls to the earth, she wasn't worthy of the presidency. Not Donald Trump technically isn't worthy of it, but he's all we had after Hillary. So, I mean, we can blame the Democrats for that as well if you want. Pelosi's out there saying that Trump's policies are violent and pretty much dangerous to America and the world. Trump's policies, not her policies. Nah. Nothing she's involved with is ever bad for Americans. I mean, she did vote for Obamacare, which is damaging me. I can't afford to go get health care, and I have a few health issues that I'd really like to have checked out. But I can't afford it unless I go and beg the government for a subsidy. Here, let me have somebody else pay for my health care. And that's the idea of most of the people in the Democrat Party. Have somebody else pay for it. That's why they don't mind raising taxes, because somebody else is paying for their ideas. And we see the Republicans aren't that keen on lowering taxes, or they're not acting like they're keen on lowering taxes. They're going to find ways to raise taxes. And in fact, with all the disasters, the hurricanes, the fires, there's going to have to be a lot of tax-funded relief. And they don't have the money for it. So either they're going to borrow it, or they're going to have no choice at all but to raise taxes on us. Even though they promise not to. But how else are they going to pay for all these unexpected events that just randomly popped up during the Trump administration, which bears no fault on Trump? As far as I can tell, it's not like he made the hurricane slam into the Texas and Florida and Puerto Rico. And it's not like he started the fire in California. I mean, maybe there's people who believe that. I have no evidence of that. So, that's there. There's a movie, a friend of mine, and I forgot the title of it, Geostorm, I think it's called, actually. She sent me a trailer for this movie called Geostorm. I'm pretty sure it's that. And the concept, the premise of the movie is that somebody developed weather weapons and are now using them on the planet. Just randomly, while all these other events are happening, they're using weather weapons against the world. And, it's funny because we have brought that up many times. We had talked about how JFK wanted to have a global satellite global satellite system, and as far as the weather is concerned, he wanted to control it. And we know we have that global satellite system, so it's reasonable to assume that they're pretty close, if not already there, on controlling the weather. And in fact, with all the studies that I have done, the research that I've involved myself with, I'm pretty positive that they are already involved in weather manipulation, if not straight up weather control. And we're seeing with China and the Olympics, they're going to not make it rain on the opening ceremonies. They're going to use weather modification to make it not rain during the opening ceremonies, as they did back when the Winter Olympics were there, and they made it snow. They made it snow. Not a lot of people know that. They either that or they don't care. And a lot of people are like, what are you talking about, dude? I'd never heard of that. That's because you don't do any studying. In fact, you probably watch Game of Thrones or Walking Dead, or you probably, listen to the mainstream media who does not give you this kind of information. But there are patents all over the internet that all you have to do is type in Google. You just type in weather modification patent. Hit the